Hi, I'm Teresa, and welcome to the latest episode of Luxe Live. Today we are here in New York City's Greenwich Village at the Marlton Hotel. So fall is in the air here in New York City. NYU and Washington Square Park are just around the corner. The leaves are starting to fall, and if you're like me, you might be tired of pumpkin spice everything at this point. So we're nearing the end of October, going into November, and I've had my pumpkin spice lattes, I've had pumpkin spice cookies and muffins and all kinds of things. So this Saturday is National Mezcal Day, and I thought we'd try a new kind of spice to spice up our weekend a little bit. So here at Margaux Bar at the Marlton, I am with Corey Walters. Corey, welcome.
That's fun.
Corey is a senior bartender here, and he is going to tell us a little bit about mezcal, how it differs from tequila, and how you can put that into a cocktail. So Corey, the first thing I want to ask you is, what exactly is mezcal, and how does it differ from the ever-popular tequila?
Sure. So mezcal is a kind of a rich, smoky cousin of tequila. And mezcal is kind of made from the agave plant, but not just the entire agave plant, the kind of the heart. It's called the piña.
Okay.
And it's a kind of a complicated process of how they make it. Tequila, actually, they don't cook it when they distill tequila. In agave, they do, and that's what kind of makes that rich, smoky flavor that you get with a lot of those mezcals. So it's kind of like a version of the way Scotch is with whiskey. It's much smokier than tequila. You know what I mean? It's got a little bit more depth and a little bit more going on than most tequilas.
Interesting. And I was reading that tequila actually differs from mezcal. It technically is a mezcal,
Yes.
but in order for it to be tequila, it would have to come from the blue agave plant strictly. And I believe there's a part of Mexico, Jalisco, that tequila is typically distilled from.
Right, exactly. Tequila has to be made with blue agave versus mezcal can be made with different varietals of the agave plant. It just has to essentially have the heart of the agave to make a mezcal, but with tequila, in contrast, you can only use the blue agave plant to create it.
And I know mezcal is certainly on the rise here in the United States.
Absolutely.
Like you said, it is that kind of sexier cousin to tequila, and something that you're probably going to sip more than take shots of on a
Sure.
wild Saturday night.
Sure.
But in terms of mezcal and what you look for as a bartender in a drink, what are you going to go to, and why mezcal?
Well, mezcal, it's because it's got that complexity that Scotch and other spirits have that are along that richer flavor profile. You can expand it into a lot of different cocktails, and it really attributes well to a lot of the classics. A Negroni, an Old Fashioned, even a Sazerac, cocktails like that.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So now I know we have some different mezcal brands on hand. Would you like to walk us through a few of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So a few of the ones that we offer here at the hotel, I picked a few of my favorites, a few that I really like, and they're all kind of different. This is Crente, very straightforward mezcal, kind of mildly smoky, really nice, kind of hybrid between kind of the more traditional, very smoky mezcals and the more exotic, which I'm getting ready to show you here, which is Crente, which I really like. This is made with wild agave, which means this isn't farmed, it's not cultivated. This is picked wild, and they make these really awesome mezcals that are very funky, and they've got rich cacao flavors. It's really, really nice. Love Crente. Another one of my favorites, personal favorites, is Lobos. This is going to be a little more affordable mezcal, very straightforward, very smoky. Okay. People that love smoky mezcals would love Lobos.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So now with the cocktail, what is your go-to mezcal cocktail?
So my go-to mezcal cocktail I actually have on the menu here. It's called the Lobo, or the Wolf, and it's kind of like it's kind of like a almost like a mezcal Negroni, but it's golden in color, and it's a little less bitter, but still really, really nice. And we used Lobos mezcal with that, Coqui Americano, and a Vez, which a Vez is a great liqueur that's kind of underused as bartenders. It's made with dandelions and other flowers. Slightly bitter like Campari, but it's golden in color. Really, really nice. Love a Vez. And then we also add orange bitters, so it's really, really nice.
Now, I was reading that mezcal, the actual plant, the piña that you were talking about earlier, that takes between 7 to 10 years to actually harvest and grow and develop. And so unlike your traditional spirits like a whiskey or others that you're going to put into a barrel and let it sit for 10 or 15 years, these are actually kind of distilling in the ground.
Right,
They're kind of
exactly.
getting older in the ground, and so when you remove them and they cook them and actually distill them, that's when they go directly into the bottle, and that's when you can drink it. So you're drinking it right out of the bottle.
Exactly. And that's why you see a lot of these mezcals, they don't have age dates on them, but a lot of these are very old. A lot of these have been sitting for 8 or 9 years before they're cultivated and turned into mezcal.
Yeah, and as mezcal grows more popular in the US and across the world, now farmers in Mexico are wondering, well, we don't want to harvest these piñas too early, but there's also a run on mezcal. So we'll have to kind of stay tuned and see what happens with mezcal production in terms of harvesting and plants, and whether or not that increases the prices of the mezcal you see here.
Right, absolutely.
Now, would you like to make us a El Lobo?
You got it, absolutely. I'll go ahead and make it for you.
Exciting.
All right, so it's a very, very simple cocktail to make. You could actually make this at home.
Okay.
Very simple. It's almost like a Negroni, so it's equal parts Montelobos Mezcal, Coqui Americano. This is a fortified wine almost made of oranges, kind of like a sweet vermouth that you would use in a Negroni.
Okay.
And this is a Vez, which is that dandelion liqueur that I was explaining to you.
You can smell the smokiness from here.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That's why I love the Montelobos.
Yeah.
So, and then there's a couple ounces of blood orange bitters.
Orange bitter. Stir it up.
Then we're going to grab a coupe. This is going to be served up.
Did you say served hot or
Up?
Up. That is certainly gold in color. Wow. It's actually perfect for fall.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is going to get a nice orange twist on it. There you have it, a Lobo.
Interesting. Okay. Take an official test just to see
Sure.
how spicy it is. All right. Not too smoky. I am somebody who likes smoky drinks.
Right.
Excellent. I really like it.
Right, and the whole point of that cocktail was to make an approachable mezcal cocktail for people that haven't had mezcal before,
Okay.
to kind of pull them into
Yes.
that spirit.
I've heard in Mexico, typically the way you want to drink mezcal is straight. You could do it on the rocks or just straight up. But if you are kind of a starter and want to work your way in slowly to mezcal, this is certainly an excellent way to do it.
Absolutely.
I'm just going over to these different brands and looking
Yes.
at, for some of the higher end, higher shelf brand of mezcal and a higher price. What should somebody look for if they want to buy they're looking for a $20 cocktail? What would differentiate that from a $15 cocktail?
Sure, it really depends on, mezcal is kind of similar in a way to, again, like Scotch, some of the more limited, harder to find varietals are going to be a little more expensive.
Okay.
So, for example, the Montelobos, like I was saying earlier, is a little more approachable and a little more affordable. It's a very straightforward mezcal, and that's why it's on the lower end or a more affordable price. The Gracias Dios, because it's made with a wild agave, a little harder to make massive amounts, and that's
Okay.
why it's a little harder to find and a little more expensive.
So it all comes down to that kind of quality versus quantity.
Absolutely, it depends on what varietal you're using and the amount of volume they're able to make, obviously.
Excellent. Well, thank you again, Corey, for making these drinks and teaching us a little bit about mezcal. This fall, why don't you try a different kind of spice in your cocktail? I know I will. And again, tomorrow is National Mezcal Day, so make a cocktail and have fun, guys. Always drink responsibly.
Thank you.